Hey guys, welcome back to Legal Marketing Live. Excited to have you here today. I'm Danny Decker. I'm here with Mark Cerniglia.
Good to be here.
And we are going to jump in. We have a fun show for you guys today. But before we do that, I have a few quick announcements. So one is that Jana and I are just putting the finishing touches on our October edition of In the Spotlight, which is a printed newsletter that goes out to a couple thousand lawyers every month. And if you guys would like to subscribe, there's still time. We're going to go ahead and drop a link in the comments, and if you just follow that link, enter your mailing address, and we will get that out to you. We've got some really good information in the October edition, so I hope you guys will check it out. Second thing is we have another referral raffle that we're going to be starting up soon, so I want you guys to stay tuned for that. We're going to announce the prizes next week. You probably remember a few weeks back we gave away a brand new MacBook Pro to Patricia Hernandez, who is our lucky winner. So we're going to have 3 more great prizes for you guys to choose from, so stay tuned for that. And the third thing is, you guys may have heard that the 2017 Law Firm 500 list came out, and that's a list that's honoring the fastest growing solo and small firms in the country. And we're really excited to tell you guys that 10 of our clients made that list, and in fact 9 of our clients were in the top 100, and 1 was even in the top 15. So that's really exciting. We're just proud of them and excited to be a part of their growth. Also, we hope that we see you guys at the event. So the Law Firm 500 is holding an event, a conference, and award gala in late October in Boca Raton, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to be there, and Mark is actually going to be leading a breakout session. Yep. You want to tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're going to have a really exciting breakout session where we're going to talk about the importance of really getting beyond Google and just kind of this idea that there's an obsession with SEO out there. And we're going to talk about why that obsession, or how that obsession can be a negative thing, and what are really some of the other things you can be doing on the internet. We're really excited to do it because, not to take anything away from the SEO companies that are out there, but every time we've been to conferences like this, every marketer who's there, this seems to be all they talk about, is SEO. So we want to be the ones coming in, not saying they're wrong necessarily, more so saying that, hey, there's more to talk about when it comes to the internet than just Google and your search ranking. So we're really excited to do that because we just feel like that message is not often brought to conferences. Often the sponsors of events like this, that our marketers are often not sharing that message. So we're excited not only to be a sponsor there, but also to have a speaking opportunity where we can really share some of the other things you should be doing on the internet.
Awesome, and there's some other great speakers there. I think Damon John is going to be there.
He is, yeah, the shark himself.
A few other great speakers. So last I heard, there's a limited amount of tickets still available. You guys can go to lawfirm500.com and do that. We'd love to see you there. Also, just a little bit lower down on our Facebook page, you can see some more information about that. We've got some links. We've got a link to the top 200 list, so you guys should check that out.
And we should be clear that you don't have to be part of the people being honored. Matter of fact, part of the benefit of going is that you'll learn a lot of what these lawyers have done to be the fastest growing law firms in the country. You'll not only learn from them, but you'll learn from some business experts.
Yep, and I believe it's a 2-day conference, and only a small portion of it is the actual award ceremony. So certainly, whether you're on the list or not, there's huge opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you go to the conference page, you'll see it's a conference, but there's a portion that's celebrating these fastest growing law firms, but there's a lot more to it.
Awesome. Absolutely. All right, so let's dive in. So today we're gonna do a different thing. We're gonna do a mailbag because we've been getting some good questions from you guys. We also do a podcast that I know some of you listen to, the Law Firm Marketing Minute, and I've asked for your questions there as well. And we've gotten some good questions over the last couple of weeks. So we want to do an entire episode where we just address your questions. So I've got a few questions here. Also, if any of you have questions right now, you can drop them in the comments, and we will do our best to get to them if we have time. And also, we're going to probably do this regularly, as long as you guys have questions and you want to hear from us. So feel free to drop questions in the comments for the future as well. And also, you can send us an email. You can email Jana at spotlightbranding.com. And Jana, let's see if we can get your email address in there so everybody knows how to reach you. And because we, at the end of the day, we're all about answering you guys' questions and providing value to you guys. So please let us know if you have questions you'd like us to cover.
We need to get Jana in front of the camera.
I know. I've been telling her.
So that everybody out there in internet land knows who we're talking about. But we'll save that. We'll save that for another episode.
It's coming. All right. So let's dive in here. So Sarah in Virginia asks, is a podcast a good way to market my law practice?
No, absolutely not. Was there anything else? No, just kidding. Yes, I think it is. I think that the key is your intent behind it. Would I expect that you're going to get a lot of clients from doing a podcast? Not necessarily. That wouldn't be my goal if I was a lawyer and I was doing it. But what I would do with it is really make sure that a lot of my marketing mentioned it. I'd make sure my website mentioned it. I'd make sure anything that goes out to potential clients, whether it be an email newsletter or a printed newsletter, I'd make sure it's mentioned. Because I think that when people find out you have a podcast, it just really kind of raises, or it really elevates kind of your brand, your credibility. It's kind of like when somebody finds out you're a speaker, or that you've written a book maybe. Yeah. Those things just kind of really position you in their minds as a little more impressive, a little more of an expert. So I think that first and foremost, it's just a great branding strategy because it's something you can tell people you do.
Yep.
Directly or indirectly. I think that helps. Anything you would add?
No, I mean, I love the idea. I would say it's an advanced strategy. I would say there's probably some more fundamental basics that you want to try to get in place first. But I love the strategy, and I actually had the chance to talk to Sarah about this, and we talked about kind of different approaches that she was thinking about taking. And one really cool idea that we had was creating a podcast. It's obviously focused on your target clients, but it can be just you talking, but bring in guests, bring in other experts, bring in people that can provide some additional value, some additional guidance to your target audience, and just make it a valuable hour every month or half an hour every week or whatever the structure is that people really look forward to tuning in because they know they're going to get some value out of it. And when you're kind of the person behind the podcast that's creating this community, bringing all this content together, whether someone hires you or not, it still just puts you in a great spot for referrals down the road and just credibility. So I love the idea, and I agree with what you said as well. I love the idea.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, too, we've done this. We've kind of figured out, we didn't really have anyone to tell us. We just kind of figured out all the things you need to do and a bunch of layers. So, I mean, I think if anyone out there needs help, we'd be happy to share our tips. If anybody needs advanced help, I think we could always talk about what that would look like. But we can tell you what we did to kind of go from zero to actually having a podcast. So.
For sure. Okay, so Felipe in Florida says, does anybody really read a blog entry? It seems like nobody has the attention span for it. Okay, so I'll give you this. People don't have much of an attention span. No. People definitely do like to consume their news in 10-second sound bites and quick videos. But what I would say about a blog entry is if you are writing your blog entries to provide value to your target market and to answer practical questions that they have, the right people are going to take the time to read those blog entries. Absolutely. The general public might not be interested and might not have 5 minutes to read about how to prepare your children for divorce, right? Don't care. There's more interesting information out there for them. The parent who's thinking about divorce and who stays up at night worrying about what's going to happen to their kids, they're 100% going to read your blog entry, and they're really going to appreciate that you spent the time to create it for them. And chances are when they're actually ready to move forward and hire an attorney, they're going to think of the person that wrote this great blog entry, and there's a good chance that they're going to reach out to you. So no, not everybody's going to read your blog entries, and that's fine. The right people should read your blog entries.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that Felipe, I think that the person who is in that situation is going to take 5 minutes and read your blog entry. Yeah. But what I would add, though, is that I think that's the main reason to do the blog entry, is for the person who has that need, because they're going to read it. But there are a lot of added benefits to the general public, because I think in that case, yeah, the average person who's not in that situation probably isn't going to read that blog entry. But if they see it, whether it's because they happen to be perusing your website, maybe it's somebody you met at a networking event, or maybe it's somebody receiving your email newsletter. We often advocate that you put your blogs in your email newsletter. So whoever might come across it just in passing, they're probably going to at least see the title. Maybe they'll skim a couple sentences, and at least right then and there, you also just kind of quickly remind people what you do, how you help them. So even if the person who does read it has that need, and it's going to serve them well, and it's going to serve you well. But even the person who doesn't have that need, the general public, so to speak, it's still going to serve you well, because they're just going to kind of quickly see what you're writing about, and that just kind of reinforces what you do and what you're an expert at.
100%. All right, so we're going to keep this one anonymous. I hear what you're saying about video, but I'm not comfortable on camera. What do I do? Thoughts?
I think my advice would be to still give it a shot. I think the key is to figure out what makes you comfortable. We talk a lot about FAQs and how when you're answering questions you answer every day, there's not a whole lot of a difference between doing it with a person sitting across from you and a camera. You know, and even like right now when I'm talking, I'm really imagining that this person just asked us this question and they're just sitting right here and I'm talking to them. And I think if you can figure out how to create that environment for yourself. I mean, I know people who have literally, and I've actually done this for clients in the past when it was like a local video shoot. I mean, I've stood behind the camera, asked the question so they could just look at me and answer it to me like they're talking to me. You know, so I guess what I'm kind of arguing is that you're more comfortable than you realize because you probably answer these questions every day. You just have to learn how to do it on camera.
I would add, I agree. First off, you should go for it, and I think that most of the time you're actually your own worst critic. I think that if you do shoot some video and you just think that you did a terrible job, before you pull the plug and freak out and write yourself off as not good on camera, ask a few other people for their honest feedback. 99% of the time they're going to be like, you did great, like what are you talking about?
That's true.
So, and the other thing is, one big way I think to keep yourself more comfortable is don't script, right? And don't try to memorize exactly what you're going to say. Just do what Mark suggested and just have a conversation with the camera. Just speak on subjects that you know about, and just like you're having a conversation. You guys are all bright, intelligent people who are very good at your area of law, and you talk to people about it all the time. And so doing it on camera really shouldn't be much different, and you just gotta stop psyching yourself out.
Agreed.
All right. So Lillian in California says, I just started my firm and money is extremely tight. Where should I allocate my marketing dollars first? All right. I love that question. I'm going to say, first off, that you're probably, especially if you're just starting your firm, you're in a position where you have more time than money, right? You've got time because you don't have a ton of caseload yet. You don't have a lot of money because the cash flow is not really there because you don't have that caseload. So you're going to want to start on marketing that uses your time more than it uses your money. So probably one of the very best strategies is to get out and network your butt off, right? Get out and join a BNI, join your local chamber of commerce, get involved in your industry groups, get out there, shake hands, meet people, build relationships, get your name out that way, right? And that's a time thing. There might be some limited costs involved in that, but they're minimal, and that's
and they can add up too. Yeah. I mean, a few chambers, lunches, BNIs, before you know it, you're spending $200, $300, $400 a month on networking.
Right.
But it's worth it.
But yeah, exactly. It's worth it, and by and large, it's not. You're not going to be spending thousands of dollars. It's more about your time than your money. But then what I'll say is, when you are ready to spend a little bit of money, do it in a way that supplements the time that you're spending. Right. So you're going out and you're doing all of this networking. You're meeting people. You're impressing people. I would say the first thing you should then spend your marketing dollars on are strategies that back that up. Right. That make your networking more effective. That make you look really good, and that increase the return that you're getting for the time you're spending. So an email newsletter is huge. An email newsletter would be one of the very first things I would say you should do, because then all of that time that you spend networking, when you meet somebody, when you get their business card, guess what? Now they go straight onto your distribution list, and now they're hearing from you every couple of weeks or every month or whatever the frequency is. So it would be a newsletter. I would say you can use social media that way as well to stay in touch with people that you've met, and you can do that. If you want to do it yourself, you can do it basically for free. And I would say a website is a big deal. I know there's a cost there, and that's a tough one. It might be hard to swallow. $3,000 or $4,000 for a website. Maybe you're going to try to do it yourself and get by for a few months.
It's going to look like you did it yourself.
Exactly, it's going to look like you did it yourself. Pretty soon you're going to have to bite the bullet and get a website done. But I would say spend the time and get out and network and do the things that you can do by hustling and spending your time, and then spend your money in a smart way that supplements and leverages what you're spending your time on.
Yeah, so I'll add a don't do, just for fun. I think that if you have a limited marketing budget, don't spend it on lead generation, which might sound kind of counterintuitive at first, but the reason is because, number one, as Danny pointed out, for a good while, until you generate really steady cash flow, your best marketing is going to be your time. It's going to be relationships, networking, building referral relationships. Maybe you can find some opportunities to speak. Maybe you start a podcast, whatever it might be. Your best asset's going to be your time, and you're going to want to trade that for clients and referrals at the beginning. So when you are going to spend money, the first place to spend it is absolutely to complement the things you should already be doing, which you mentioned. But the second thing is that usually at small dollar amounts, most lead gen is not going to work. Most companies who will take your money at small dollar amounts for lead gen Now, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them aren't really going to be able to produce good results at those numbers. Whether we're talking 200-300 a month, even 500-600 a month. And when I say lead gen, I mean pay-per-click ads. I mean search engine optimization. I mean lead services that send you direct leads. I'm not saying there aren't exceptions, but when you have a limited marketing budget, I would really question whether or not you're going to get clients with that limited marketing budget. As where if you spend it on complementing the things you're already doing, you already know there's a result from these things I'm doing, and now this marketing I'm going to do is going to enhance that.
Yep.
So I'd like to see that too.
Couldn't agree more. All right, Bill in Florida. And by the way, guys, if you have some questions, feel free to drop them in the comments right now. I don't know that we'll be able to get to them today, but we will absolutely get to them in our next mailbag installment. So please drop them in the comments or shoot Jana an email. All right, Bill in Florida. I'm worried about giving too much information away for free. Will people still hire me? And Mark, I think he's talking about, we talk on here a lot about providing practical blogs and downloadable resources on your website. And so the question is, well, if I put that information out there and make it available for free, are they still going to hire me?
Yeah, I think the simple answer is yes. We've seen this in many industries. There are tons of industries out there where people are experts at something and are worried that if they give away too much information, no one's going to hire them. And I've listened to so many speakers, podcasts, business owners who have just completely said that hasn't been the case for them at all. And so no, I don't think it is. May you come across someone here or there that came to your website, read something, and thought, I could do that myself. Sure, but I don't know that person was going to hire you to begin with.
Right.
I think that's the key.
Yep.
I think if anything, you will make people realize more and more just how much of an expertise you've acquired through lots of schooling and experience,
right.
And they're gonna want to bring you on board. I think giving away information makes you trustworthy, it makes you credible, and I think it makes people want to get you involved. Because even if they start to try to do it themselves, they're gonna quickly realize that they really shouldn't be, and then they'll come to you. If they haven't already.
Yep. The IRS gives you plenty of detailed information about how to do your taxes. The vast majority of people out there still go hire an accountant or some service to do it for them, because it's just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you want to do it yourself. And also, we wouldn't advocate that you should be creating, blog entries and reports that literally give people line by line, like file this form and put this information here. No, the information we're talking about is really more big picture. It's more about, the emotional needs and the planning, things that kind of surround the technical aspects of the legal work. So I would say, no, you're not providing people with a step-by-step guide to how they should, file for divorce. What you're more focused on is how to prepare your kids for divorce, what the state looks at when determining custody, how alimony is determined, things like that. You're more focused on answering their big picture questions and not so much on the details anyway. So yeah. So don't worry about that. Give away that information. Make yourself look like an expert, and you build some credibility and you build rapport. And give away that information. It's a good strategy. All right. Probably the last question we have time for today. So Lynn in Texas says, should I use Instagram for my law firm marketing? And my short answer is yes, but probably not right away. Instagram is a great platform, and it's an image-based platform, as you probably know. So it's all about taking photos around your office, photos of happy clients, if that's appropriate, of your team working. You can put out some, infographics, providing some tips, some ideas, some inspirational quotes. It's a great platform, and you can use it to build an audience. And we even get the occasional lead that comes in through Instagram. Somebody just contacted us this morning because they saw what we do on Instagram and wanted to know if we can help them. So yeah, great channel. It's a good thing to use, but there are more foundational elements that you should have in place first. You should have a website in place first. You need to have some of these other strategies we've talked about, like a broader social media strategy, more focused on kind of the big three or big four: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+. You do want to have a newsletter in place. You do want to have a website in place. So there are other things that you should have in place first, and I think that are more important. But if you've got that stuff going and you want to get into Instagram as well, it's great. It's a great way to kind of humanize your firm, to humanize yourself, to get information out there, and to engage with some people that you might not get elsewhere. There's a lot of crossover between Facebook users and Instagram users, but there are also some people that use Instagram that don't use Facebook. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's just you got to have your priorities in order, and I think that there's a lot of cool stuff that could happen on Instagram. just make sure you have your other things that are maybe more essential in place first. And then when you are ready for Instagram, just make sure you have a strategy in mind, since it is image-based. You know, what do you want to put up there? Are you just going to go around and take pictures of your staff working? I mean, you can, you know. Maybe you put some quotes on like an image, you know, like a picture of something with a quote on it. You just got to have a plan of kind of what you want to do, because it's not as I guess straightforward as all the other ones we talked about, where you can post text, images, links. Just you know, I think you just have to have a strategy and kind of know what you're trying to accomplish on Instagram.
And I would say 9 times out of 10, it's not worth your personal time to do it, because it takes some time to get the photography right and to build these images. If you've got someone on your team, you know, a marketing assistant, paralegal, somebody on your team that's good at it, that enjoys it, it could be a good use of their time, but it's probably not going to be a good use of your own personal time. So I think that is it for now. We are running out of time. So thank you guys for joining us. I had fun doing this. Let's do it again. If you guys have questions, email them to us, drop them in the comments, and we'll do this again soon as we get enough questions. So let us know.
See you later.
All right. Thanks, guys.